Hello, everyone. Welcome to English Story. Today we will learn about one of the most famous holidays in the United States, Thanksgiving. Many people celebrate this day with family, food, and happiness. But do you know where Thanksgiving started? Who were the first people to celebrate it? Thanksgiving has a long history that goes back more than 400 years. It is not only a holiday to eat and enjoy, but also a day to say thank you for everything we have. This story is a great chance to learn about American culture and improve your English listening skills with simple and clear sentences. Now, let's begin our journey into the origin of Thanksgiving. Part 1. Life in the New World. A long time ago in the early 1600s, a group of people called the Pilgrims left England and traveled to North America. At that time, life in England was not easy for many people. The king wanted everyone to follow the same church and the same rules. If someone followed a different belief, they could be punished or sent to prison. The Pilgrims were part of a small group who wanted to pray and live in their own way. They also faced high taxes, little land, and few jobs. Many families lived in poverty and hoped for a better life somewhere else. The idea of a new world across the ocean gave them hope. They heard stories about a land full of forests, animals, and open space. It sounded like a place where they could start again and live freely. Even though the journey was dangerous, they were ready to take the risk. In 1620, about 102 pilgrims left England on a ship called the Mayflower. The journey was very long. They sailed across the Atlantic Ocean. The ship was small and crowded. Many people felt sick on the way. The sea was often rough and the weather was cold. Some pilgrims were afraid. They did not know if they could survive. After 66 days, the pilgrims finally reached the land we now call North America. It was November, and the weather was very cold. They had no houses. They had no food. They had only a few tools and clothes. The first winter was very hard for them. Many pilgrims became sick. Some people died because of hunger and cold. Life in the New World was very different from life in England. The pilgrims had to work every day. They had to build houses and find food. They had to learn to live in a strange land. The trees were tall and the animals were different. The land was new and difficult for them. At night, they prayed for safety and warmth. During the day, they worked hard to build stronger shelters and find something to eat. Some people collected wood for fire. By the time spring came, almost half of the pilgrims had died. It was one of the hardest times in their lives. But they did not give up. They still believed they had come to the New World for a reason. Luckily, the Pilgrims met Native Americans who lived in the land for many years. They knew a lot about this land, and they taught the Pilgrims many things about survival. Because of this help, the Pilgrims could survive. They learned the new ways to grow food and live in the land. The Pilgrims were very grateful for the help. They realized they could not live alone in this new world. Their courage and faith helped them stay strong. They were ready to learn how to live in this land. And that is when something unexpected happened that changed their story forever. Part 2. Meeting the Native Americans. After the Pilgrims arrived in North America, they needed help to survive. The land was new and very different from England. Luckily, they met the Native Americans who already lived there. One important group was the Wampanoag tribe. The leader of the tribe was Chief Massasoit. He welcomed the Pilgrims and wanted peace between the two groups. The Wampanoag people knew a lot about the land. They could hunt, fish, and grow crops in the forests and fields. The Pilgrims had never done these things before. They did not know how to plant corn or catch fish in the rivers. At first they struggled to survive. The Wampanoag decided to help them. One very important helper was a man named Squanto. Squanto spoke some English because he had traveled to Europe before. He taught the Pilgrims many things. He showed them how to plant corn using fish as fertilizer. He also taught them how to hunt deer and catch fish. Thanks to Squanto, the Pilgrims learned how to get enough food for the winter. The Pilgrims and the Wampanoag spent a lot of time together. They shared food, tools, and knowledge. The Pilgrims were very grateful for the help. They realized that without the Native Americans, many Pilgrims would not survive. The Wampanoag also learned from the Pilgrims about new tools and ways to live. Over time, the two groups became friends. They worked together to grow crops and prepare for the winter. They respected each other's customs and traditions. This friendship was very important. It created a strong bond between the Pilgrims and the Wampanoag. Because of this friendship, the Pilgrims and the Wampanoag could celebrate the first Thanksgiving together. They had survived a hard winter and had enough food to enjoy a big feast. This event showed the importance of helping each other and living in peace. The story of Squanto and the Wampanoag teaches us many lessons. It shows the value of kindness, cooperation, and learning from others. It also shows why Thanksgiving is a holiday about being thankful. People remember the help and friendship that saved the Pilgrims. Today we celebrate Thanksgiving, not only with food, but also by thinking about the people who helped us in life. The first Thanksgiving was not just a feast. It was a celebration of friendship, learning, and survival. It was a special moment when two very different groups of people came together and helped each other. The Pilgrims and the Wampanoag worked together and built trust. This trust became the base of a new tradition. The story reminds us that helping others and being thankful are important in every culture. Part 3. The First Thanksgiving Feast. In 1621, after the first successful harvest, the Pilgrims were very happy. They had worked hard all year. They had planted crops, hunted animals, and learned from the Native Americans. Now they had enough food to eat. This was the first time they could celebrate a big feast. The Pilgrims decided to invite the Wampanoag people to celebrate with them. The feast lasted 3 days. Many people from both groups joined the celebration. They sang songs, played games, and shared stories. Everyone was thankful for the food and the friendship. The food at the first Thanksgiving was different from what we eat today. They ate wild turkey, deer meat, and fish. They also ate corn, pumpkins, and berries. All the food came from the land around them. There were no ovens or stores like today. People cooked food in open fires and simple pots. The Pilgrims and the Wampanoag used the feast to give thanks. They thanked God for the successful harvest. They thanked nature for the crops, animals, and water. They also thanked each other for help and friendship. The feast was a way to show gratitude to everything around them. During the celebration, people played games and shared stories. Children learned about planting and hunting from the Native Americans. Adults shared knowledge about building and living in the New World. The feast was not only about food, but also about learning and teaching. The first Thanksgiving showed how two different groups could live together in peace. The Pilgrims and the Wampanoag respected each other. They worked together and celebrated together. This was an important lesson about kindness, cooperation, and friendship. Even though life was still hard, the feast gave people hope. They knew that if they worked together, they could survive. The first Thanksgiving became a symbol of hard work, patience, and gratitude. People remembered the help they had received from others. Today, we celebrate Thanksgiving with similar ideas. We eat turkey, corn, and other foods. We spend time with family and friends. We remember to be thankful for what we have. The tradition of giving thanks started with that first harvest and the special feast in 1621. The story of the first Thanksgiving helps us understand why the holiday is important. It is a time to remember history, to celebrate friendship, and to say thank you. People honor the Pilgrims and the Wampanoag for their courage and cooperation. The feast lasted only 3 days, but its meaning lasts forever. It reminds us to be thankful for food, help, and friendship. The first Thanksgiving was not just a meal. It was a moment of hope, learning, and unity between two different cultures. Part 4. How Thanksgiving spread across America. At first, Thanksgiving was only celebrated in New England. This area included the colonies of Massachusetts, Plymouth, and nearby regions. The Pilgrims and other settlers gave thanks for their harvest every year. They celebrated in small groups with family and friends. As more people moved to other colonies, the idea of Thanksgiving began to spread. Families and communities started to celebrate in different places. People who moved west or to the south brought the tradition with them. Soon, Thanksgiving was no longer just a New England holiday. It became part of life in many American colonies. Everywhere people celebrated Thanksgiving. The customs were different. Some families had big meals with turkey, corn, and pies. Others had simpler meals with vegetables and fish. In some places, people went to church to give thanks. They sang songs and listened to prayers. Each colony made its own way to celebrate, but the main idea was the same: to give thanks for food and blessings. Religious leaders played an important role in keeping Thanksgiving alive. Many ministers encouraged people to celebrate the day every year. They reminded people to pray and be thankful. Churches often organized special services for Thanksgiving. Families and communities followed their example. Because of this, Thanksgiving became a regular tradition in American life. During the 1700s and 1800s, newspapers and letters helped spread the story of Thanksgiving. People read about how others celebrated and tried to do the same in their towns. This made the holiday more popular. Soon, almost everyone in the colonies knew about Thanksgiving and wanted to celebrate it too. Thanksgiving also became a way for people to gather with family. Life in the colonies was often difficult and travel was hard. When the harvest was over, people had time to meet relatives and friends. They shared food, stories, and happiness. This helped families stay connected and feel thankful. By the early 1800s, Thanksgiving was celebrated in many parts of America, but not on the same day. Each state or town chose a different date. People continued to enjoy the feast, pray, and be thankful. The tradition grew stronger every year, and people remembered the Pilgrims and the first harvest. Even though Thanksgiving started in New England, it became a national idea. It reminded people to work together, be grateful, and help others. The holiday also showed the importance of family, community, and religion in American life. Today, we still see the influence of those early celebrations. Families gather, pray, and share meals. We remember that Thanksgiving is a holiday that began with small celebrations in New England, but spread to the whole country. Part 5: Abraham Lincoln and the National Holiday. Before Abraham Lincoln became president, Thanksgiving was not the same in every state. Each state could choose a different day to celebrate. Some states celebrated in November, others in October. There was no national holiday. People in different parts of the country did not always celebrate together. A woman named Sarah Josepha Hawley wanted to change this. She was a writer and editor. She believed Thanksgiving should be one national holiday. She wrote many letters to presidents and politicians. In her letters, she explained why having one day for all Americans was important. She wanted a day when everyone could be thankful and united. Finally, during the American Civil War, Abraham Lincoln listened to her request. In 1863, Lincoln declared Thanksgiving a national holiday. He chose the last Thursday of November as the official day. This decision was very important. It gave all Americans a common day to celebrate and give thanks. Lincoln wanted Thanksgiving to bring people together. At that time, the country was divided. The North and South were fighting in the Civil War. Families were separated, and many people were sad and afraid. Lincoln believed that Thanksgiving could help unite the country. It could remind people of kindness, hope, and gratitude. The first national Thanksgiving under Lincoln was a time for prayer, reflection, and family. People celebrated with meals and shared what they were thankful for. Even in difficult times, they tried to be happy and remember the good things in life. The holiday became a symbol of hope during hard times. After Lincoln's declaration, Thanksgiving became stronger as a tradition. Schools, churches, and communities began to celebrate it every year. Newspapers and books told the story of Lincoln and Sarah Hawley. Children learned about the first Thanksgiving and the national holiday. Families felt proud to take part in a special day for the whole country. The national holiday helped Americans remember history. They remembered the Pilgrims, the Native Americans, and the first harvest. They also remembered the work of people like Sarah Hall and Abraham Lincoln. Thanksgiving was no longer just a local holiday. It was now a celebration for everyone in the United States. Today, Lincoln's decision still affects how we celebrate Thanksgiving. People in all 50 states celebrate on the same day. Families gather to eat, give thanks, and spend time together. The holiday continues to remind Americans about unity, gratitude, and hope. The story of Lincoln and Sarah Hawley shows how one idea can change a nation. A holiday that started with a small group of Pilgrims and Native Americans became a national tradition. Thanksgiving is now a time for all Americans to come together, even in difficult times, and remember the values of friendship, family, and thankfulness. Part 6: Thanksgiving in Modern Times. Today, Thanksgiving is celebrated by many people across the United States. Families and friends gather together to share a big meal. Turkey is the main food for most families. They also eat corn, potatoes, pies, and other dishes. The food is very important, but spending time with family is more important. Many cities have special events during Thanksgiving. There are parades with floats, bands, and balloons. People watch these parades on television or go to see them in person. Another popular activity is American football. Many people watch football games with friends and family on Thanksgiving Day. Thanksgiving is also a time to help others. Many people volunteer in shelters or give food to the poor. Some families invite neighbors or people who have no family to join their meal. This tradition shows the spirit of kindness, sharing, and caring for others. After Thanksgiving, the shopping season begins. The next day is called Black Friday. Stores offer big discounts and many people go shopping. This is a modern tradition that started in the 20th century. Black Friday is not about food or giving thanks, but it is part of how Americans celebrate the season. The meaning of Thanksgiving today is similar to the past, but also different. People are still thankful for food, family, and friends. They still remember the first Pilgrims and Native Americans. But today, there are more celebrations, parades, and modern activities like football and shopping. Families have many choices on how to celebrate. But the heart of Thanksgiving is still gratitude. Comparing the past and present, the first Thanksgiving was simple. The Pilgrims and Wampanoag shared wild food and spent 3 days together. Today, Thanksgiving is bigger and more organized. There are stores, recipes, and events. Yet, both the old and new celebrations show the importance of being thankful and spending time with others. Thanksgiving also reminds people to slow down and appreciate life. In the modern world, life can be busy. Work, school, and technology take a lot of time. Thanksgiving gives a moment to focus on family, friendship, and gratitude. It is a day to remember what is truly important. In the end, Thanksgiving is a holiday that brings people together. It combines old traditions with modern life. Families eat, share, help others, watch parades, and enjoy football. It is a day to give thanks and to celebrate love, friendship, and togetherness.